Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's get started.
You know what it is. It's the people's house. Big Zeus. It's the people's house. Big Zeus. Pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house. I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers. I'm balling the wall. Power to the people. Yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team. Red and white and blue. That's
Greetings.
Voices on the block. I'm breaking through. I got the keys. I'm in the lobby. Yeah, I'm moving like
Good morning.
Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game's strong. Freedom is the banner, and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Zeus, powers in the air. Zeus, we knocking on the door. Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Yeah. Who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People, them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the rally outside, and the gates is locked. This power never divides. Spitting for the block, head buses make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap, I'ma bring it back. In the people's house, power's in the air. It's the people's house, we knocking on your door. It's the people's house, we wanna hear your soul.
We want to hear your soul. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's July 1st, and you know exactly what we got to do, all right? Let's go ahead and get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we need to do. That's right.
I feel like I'm stuck in a cycle. It's like I'm
Oh my goodness.
It's like a curse, and I can't escape it.
You know they're gonna try all the little tricks they have, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
It's me.
Every-
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming. It's deja
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
First class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game,
ahead of the class.
You can tell that I made it.
Look at my grass.
Cars in the garage, the tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room, screaming how we made it.
Yeah, this is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous.
The algorithm turned me to a maniac.
Yeah, I guess we going viral cause my Zodiac.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet.
Am I right, Val?
Thank you. And if they use my ex, that mean they left me. They don't get replies if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited. Call me the
Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes, right here.
I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Shit was radical.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off.
Oh!
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
You got me.
Deja vu.
You got me. I just, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Yeah, you got me. W's. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Thunderdome. Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Maribel. Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm your host. I'm your pilot. And, once again, while we are here, we have some incredible work to do in order to save this great country. Good morning, the beautiful Ari. Good morning. We have some work to do in order to save this wonderful country of ours from the evil clutches of guess who? Yep, Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons. And now it's not just the MAGA demons. I'm going to go after, there's also people out there. I was attacked pretty badly yesterday. And you all know who they are. I'm not going to mention their name because I got a lot more class than that. But it seems that people within my own party are coming after me. I guess I'm not doing enough work to just get the truth out there. And so listen up. I'll say this before we go any further. I want to make sure all of you understand, who I am. I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, what? Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You're going to get the truth. All right. That's how honest I am. And it's going to probably hurt your feelings. But do I care? No. But that leads me to my next point. I'm also the most humble. And what does that mean? If I get it wrong, I will apologize to you if I'm wrong. But here's the thing. I've been doing this for over 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And I've learned one thing. Just because your feelings are hurt, it doesn't mean that I owe you an apology. 9 times out of 10, actually, 11 times out of 10. Most of the time, it means you need to sit your special behind down and do what? Listen to this special broadcast. It's very, very simple. All right. And then, honestly, it's the last H is because I am and will remain. What is it? We all know what it is. Nutty hates when I say it. Eugene hates when I say it. But Q-Dog understands when I say it. It's because I am and will always remain the most handsome. Yeah. Now, many of you know exactly what we do on this program. We confront demons in real time, and usually it's the MAGA demon, but now I understand within my own camp, even Jesus had disciples that, did some things to him, Judas. So we confront the demons in real time in order to help everyday Americans confront all of the misinformation and the disinformation that's out there that's causing them to bring God's judgment upon this great country of ours. We got God's judgment upon us. There's a heat wave out here, ladies and gentlemen. Almost 44 million Americans this past weekend. Unbearable heat. And while that's happening, Donald Trump is trying to cram this big, beautiful bill down the American people's throats, which is what I'm hearing is going to make American people's energy bills go through the roof. I looked at my energy bill yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, almost $600, $700. I said, what on earth is going on? I was looking forward to my utility bill being cut in half, according to Donald Trump. He said he's going to cut it in half. Has it happened? Has anyone's utility bill been cut in half, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just curious because that's something he promised. I don't think anyone's going to admit it. So what I'll say is this. If you are a Trump supporter, or as I want to refer to them now, an agent of chaos, all right, and an agent of chaos definitely is MAGA, but now I'm also aware an agent of chaos could be right here, standing and sitting right next to you. You have an agent of chaos. Do me a huge favor. Leave this live right now, and you go on and hang out with these other fake TikTok hosts. On the right, these fake TikTok hosts, they'll lie to you. But then where I'm at now, yesterday after I saw what happened, I said, we got some people out here just virtue signaling, but they're not doing anything. You go hang out with those people because they'll take good care of you. They'll make you feel real good about yourself, even though you're not doing a doggone thing. But over here, we won't let that happen, all right? Because it's like I said, it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, the doors to the Thunderdome have officially closed. W. Zeus. So I see Puff comes into my live and he says the viewership is dropped. Puff, you can make up all kinds of stories to fit your narrative, bro. But that's really not what's important. What's important, Puff, is this. Puff he's a typical Trump supporter, right? He knows his dear leader has underperformed in so many categories. And I'll be honest with you, Puff, your poll numbers, as far as I'm concerned, they don't even exist. W. Zeus. And so it's always the folks at the bottom of the barrel, all right, and they know who they are, that have the most to say. And I'll just totally annihilate Puff with a couple of questions. Hey Puff, do you know where we can get gas for $1.98, Puff? It's very easy. Puff, do you know where we can get gas for $1.98? Oh, Puff, I'll wait. Give us the website. You don't need to come up here. How about this, Puff? Do you know about the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime in the big, beautiful, nasty bill that Donald Trump is trying to cram down your throat? Did you know that thing has provisions that are going to sunset in 3-4 years? And then all of a sudden, you're going to get back to tax on tips. And there's a cap on the tax on tips, by the way, Puff. And you know you need those tips for your line of work. W. Zeus. He's ripping you off. And get this, Puff. Puff, I'm glad you came in here, because if you don't mind, I want to know how you feel about this. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems Donald Trump has so much time on his hands, he's decided that, folks like Puff and Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom, there's a way that he can make a little bit more money off of them. And all they have to do is, go into their bank account, because I know they don't have credit cards, right? And then they can go onto his website and they can purchase some of his cologne. And you all saw this, right? I did a video about it, but we're going to do this. This is the first round of the Lake of Fire. All right, Donald Trump is now selling cologne so that his Trump supporters can smell like his dirty, disgusting diaper.
Fragrances are here. They make a great Christmas present. I've named them Fight, Fight, Fight because they represent winning. We all want to be winning. We have to win as a nation. We want to win as a family. This fragrance is all about strength and success and confidence for men and for women. Get yourself a bottle and don't forget to grab one for your loved ones too. They'll thank you and they'll even smell good. Enjoy, have fun, keep on winning, and Merry Christmas.
What month are we in? What month are we in, ladies and gentlemen? It's July 1st. We haven't even gotten through the 4th of July, and he's already talking about Merry Christmas. If this isn't a sign of somebody whose cognitive abilities have completely, they say Elvis left the building. His cognitive abilities have clearly left the building. In the middle of July, while everyone's utility bills are going through the roof, we got fires, we got infernos, actually. He decides he's going to sell folks like Tiny Tank Top Tim and Sir Puff some cologne. And this cologne, it costs $200. And if you want the Victory Edition, it's another $50. And I said, wow. The fact that y'all keep supporting this man, even though he is lying to you, MAGA, it just shows me how desolate and how dark your souls truly are. And so let's go ahead and do our first round of Lake of Fire. Let's go ahead and do it. And this is for Sir Puff and Tiny Tank Top Tim and anybody out there who continues to just let Donald Trump lie to them and then go ahead and empty out their bank account and send him all their money and then turn around and get on TikTok and try to act like it's the Democrats. No! It's not the Democrats. It's who? You. Do us all a huge favor and go straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus, and I just want to make sure we all nip this in the bud. All right. Yesterday I did mention the situation that unfolded in the state of Idaho. The state that I grew up in, right? And it's northern Idaho, and so I know who's up there in those mountains in northern Idaho. And most of the time there might be some good folks out there, but the information did come out, ladies and gentlemen, about the suspect, and it was just as I suspected. It was just as I suspected. Are there any Trump supporters out there that want to come up here and condemn what that MAGA demon did? And again, I don't like to do this, but I got to make the point, because when I go over the X and I see folks, and they know who they are, saying it's the Democrats and our rhetoric and what we're doing is harmful to the democracy, I got to stop it right there in its tracks. All right, we got to stop it right there in its tracks. I wonder if I have the photo of the suspect's mother and their stepfather. Do I have the photo? I don't have the photo on me. Oh, I wish I would have had that photo on me, because we would have to discuss this in a very, very briefly. Where is that photo at? Oh my goodness. I don't have the photo. But are there any Trump supporters out there, ladies and gentlemen, that want to come up here and condemn political violence this morning? Because since the Butler incident, the Democrats have been catching hell, especially us creators on TikTok. Oh, it's you calling out our dear leader's lies and his misinformation, and you're creating it's a tinderbox right now, Zeus, and your rhetoric, it's the spark that's setting all of this off. And I had to say, has America been a violent country since its inception, ladies and gentlemen? Has America been a violent country since its inception, ladies and gentlemen? The answer to that question is yeah. I don't need a MAGA thought to even try to attempt to answer the question. Slavery was pretty violent, wasn't it? Wouldn't you all say slavery was pretty violent? What you did to the immigrants, and the Native Americans and the indigenous people. I would argue that's some of the most violent artwork. I wouldn't even want to call it artwork, but it is artwork to them because they get some sort of joy out of being cruel. And we'll talk about this joy they get out of being cruel, especially when you got things like alligator Alcatraz, right? And it's always the usual suspects pushing this violence. They get on us. Oh, well, Zeus, what are you going to do about crime in these inner cities, black on black crime? And, and I say to these folks, you're the last person I should be talking about crime and stopping any kind of violence, because violence is how we got to where we're at. We just saw the president of the United States drop a huge several Bs on another country for no reason. And you want to come talk to Big Zeus? No. So I see we do not have. Thank you, Straight Facts. W Straight Facts. I see we don't have any Trump supporter out there willing to condemn political violence. We know who the usual suspects are, MAGA. We know. What we saw in Idaho in those mountains, and the sad thing about it is they said the one who did this, he lured the firefighters there and did what he did to them. And then they go and paint him on the news. Oh, he wanted to be a firefighter. He wanted to be a firefighter. No, he did not. Let me say that again. He didn't want to be a firefighter. He wanted to be a domestic tea. It's plain and simple. I wish I lived in a country where these same knuckleheads, these same knuckle draggers would have such compassion for the people who came into the country. Oh, these people are in here illegally. Why don't you just turn around and say, oh, they came here to be a firefighter, and then show a little compassion? You won't do it. Oh, he wanted to be an apprentice. Oh, he wanted to be in an Olympics, swim. You don't ever say that. But all of a sudden, when it's the folks in the cult that do it, oh, well, we got to try to figure out where he had a breakdown at. I'm going to tell you where he had a breakdown. The moment you let him put that red hat on, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, and again, why do I say it's the red hat? Because one of the greatest tease attack, and they're going to get mad at me for doing this, and this is why I say this. When the folks in my own party, like I saw yesterday, they got up in the live yesterday and they had the audacity to come after Big Zeus and everyone else that gets up here. No, don't come after us. We didn't do anything besides get the truth out here. Oh, you have a photo, Straight Facts? All right, we'll do that. If you are a so-called progressive, right? Or whatever you call yourself, but you spend 99.9% of your time on TikTok trying to come after Big Zeus and anybody else, I have to stop you and say, you know what? Just go over there, because here's the thing. Have I ever said anything like this, ladies and gentlemen? Have I said anything like this? Hold on, let me see. Because I want you to understand, I'm not your enemy. Hold on. Have I ever said anything like this? Oh yeah. Here it goes. Okay. Yeah.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy.
Have I said this?
And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Who?
And we're going to cheer on are brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Yeah. Have I ever said anything like that? No. The urgency of this moment has nothing to do with Democrats who aren't progressive enough. No, the urgency of this moment is the fact that we have somebody in the White House who's clearly a criminal. He doesn't care about the rule of law. All right. And instead of using your efforts and your energy to actually focus on that, you want to sit up here and say stuff like, oh, this is why you lost. No, I know why the Democrats lost. All right. And it's because there's weakness sometimes within the party. You're allowing the folks on the right who are clearly in a cult to plant seeds inside of your head to make you start and act like they are. You're not you're not helping anybody. You're actually making matters worse. And so what I'll do is this. I'm going to warm up this lake of fire. All right. And this is for all the folks out there who continue to excuse bad behavior and somehow paint themselves as victims or victors when it comes to cruelty being unleashed by the folks that they surround themselves with, and then try to blame it on the Democrats. It's not going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send these folks where they came from, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. All right. Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, there is racism in this country, and I'm not ignorant to it. And yesterday, what we dealt with was within our own camp. We got some folks out here who are acting very, very racist. Now, I don't like to use that word. It's a very strong word. I know I expect it from MAGA, but I don't expect people within my own party to do it. So listen up, and I'm just going to say this so that it never gets questioned again. If you are within my party and you get up here on my show and you start criticizing President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, I just want you to know it's going to be because I got to keep it respectful. You know, I was raised with, I got to have manners, but I promise you it's going to be a very, very tough conversation, because I'm not going to allow you to do that without really, really pointing out the fact that what you're doing is flat out, it's racist and misogynist. W Zeus. Especially when you look at all of the threats currently happening right now in this country, your mind is still stuck in 2024? It just tells me you're sitting at home with MAGA, and if you're not with MAGA, you should join. It just tells me you're sitting at home angry because Vice President Kamala Harris is alive. And that to me is evidence. And it's just like that one knucklehead that got up in my live the other week. You remember her, right? She said, well, Zeus, it's okay. And this person claimed to be a progressive, right? It's okay, Zeus, if the folks I hang out with are racist because they're doing it to you. This is what they say to me. And I go, whoa, but Zeus, don't worry. I voted for Kamala Harris. Yeah, right. All right. Don't use that I'm not going for that anymore. And it's sad that we've gotten to this point, but I think, you know what? Sometimes you got to purify the metal in order to get to the gold, W Zeus. It's crazy talk. It's insanity, because they think that because I don't call them out in that right moment, they think it goes right over my head. But no, I just really sometimes wonder, are you hearing what you're saying? Are you going back and looking at this content that you're creating and looking at, not me, because I look good. I look good. But go back and re-watch. I post the videos on my YouTube page, so you can go back and re-watch it and understand how you ended up playing yourself like a fool out here. It's not just MAGA now, and I'm clear on that. I'm clear-minded now that it's not just MAGA. And so I want everyone to understand this is what's going to happen going forward. And the midterms definitely are something I plan on making sure our party wins. But I'm going to make sure we get rid of a lot of these so-called agents of light, but they're out here and they're really just agents of darkness. Now, go buy yourself some of that victory cologne and sit down, all right? The next thing that I wanted to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is, we might as well get this out there in the open. It seems like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're not seeing eye to eye, and this has a lot to do with the big, beautiful bill. Obviously, Elon and I We do not see eye to eye, but you know what? I'll take the W. Elon is helping these folks on the right, the Republicans. He's helping them understand, do not pass this bill. So his motives aren't aligned with mine, but we agree on one thing. Don't pass this ridiculous bill that's actually going to harm everyday Americans. Now, I told you yesterday Donald Trump is afraid of Elon Musk. I told you all this. I said he's afraid of Elon. But Donald Trump said something and did something that I think is trying to let people know he's not so afraid of Elon. And so let's get this on the record, all right? He's on his way to Alligator Alcatraz, and he gave this quick press briefing.
And then I'll be back here fighting for the bill, and I hear it's going okay. We'll move along. But we'll be back here pretty early.
Do you think the president on the bill, you've been warning some Republicans not to go too crazy with the cuts. Are there parts of the bill or amendments that you think cut too much?
We're going to have to see the final version. I don't want to go too crazy with cuts. I don't like cuts. There are certain things that have been cut, which is good. I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff. Great enthusiasm, as you know. And I think in the end we're going to have it. What do you think, Caroline? Yeah, I think we're
What do you think about Zoran Mamdani having such a hard time condemning the phrase globalized and income?
I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is...
He's talking about Mamdani in New York. He's calling him terrible, and he's calling him a communist. And again, this is where I'm asking the folks who are claiming to be progressive but then spend their time attacking me. Why don't you go focus on Donald Trump attacking the candidate that just won in New York, right? Because this is where your real energy should go. Listen to what Trump says about him.
I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Then we have a communist. So I think he's bad news. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, watching him, because he has to come right to this building to get his money. And don't worry, he's not going to run away with anything. I think he's frankly, I've heard he's a total nut job.
Called him a nut job.
New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist. He wants to operate the grocery stores, the department stores. What about the people that are there? I think it's crazy.
So he called him crazy. He called him a communist. Right? So to those folks who sit in my party and they want to come and attack me, again, where is your energy for this? Where is your energy? You want to sit here and attack Big Zeus? He's the one that's saying this guy's crazy and a communist. I'm not. See, this is how I catch you folks being liars. Let's go ahead and continue.
Elon Musk. Who? What happened to Elon Musk?
What happened to Elon?
Nothing. No, he's upset that he's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that.
So that's a veiled threat right there. He's threatening, because if you go read his post yesterday on social media, he called out the fact that Elon was from South Africa, right? So what we're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is he's piping up right now, and he's starting to, try to get his little swagger back and try to make himself appear to be strong. And so now there's beef out there between him and Elon Musk. I thought they hugged it out, but apparently they didn't hug it out, because he knows that Elon is very, very powerful and has a huge influence on his party. But he didn't stop there.
There. It's tough. We're trying to bring it down. It would have been easy, but they wouldn't have an alligator, okay? If they escape prison. So he's coming here. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about the great knowledge. He gets a lot of
Here
stuff.
goes another part of...
You know Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter.
So he claims Elon is upset because he's getting rid of the EV mandate, and that's going to eat into Elon's bottom line. And to a certain degree, I believe that. But then I got to think to myself, well, Elon, this is what you voted for, right? This is who you put into the White House, Elon. You didn't see this coming? Oh, yeah. And Trump is trying to act like we all know that the Epstein files has really been the center of this whole beef. Elon, do us all a huge favor. I'm going to warm up the lake of fire because Trump just said he doesn't believe in selling the EVs. He doesn't think Americans should have EVs. But didn't we see him selling Teslas? Didn't we see Trump selling Teslas a couple of months ago, ladies and gentlemen? Didn't we see him selling those Teslas for Elon? I'm just double checking. Is my memory still working? So he doesn't believe in people having electric vehicles, but he sells electric vehicles on the White House lawn. And like a bunch of plumb dumb fools. And I heard it on TikTok. Somebody said, oh, I went and bought me a Tesla because I felt sorry for the guy and I want to support Elon. So now you Trump supporters, y'all got these Teslas that Trump doesn't even care about you having, wasting your money. And guess what? He's also selling you still some new cologne. At least you think about it. You're going to be in the Tesla smelling like Trump. Oh my, his dirty, disgusting diaper. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and warm up the lake of fire. Once again, Donald Trump is once again illustrating how ridiculous and pathetic his supporters are. They go out here and they support Elon. They smell like him, only to realize that they're nothing but the worst and the biggest losers in the country. Actually, the world. Let's send them straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
It's another W for Big Zeus. It really is. So we got that out of the way, and I want to make sure we get this on record, all right? Because this goes back to a little bit about this is that message that you just heard. This is Donald Trump before he heads to Alligator Alcatraz, is what they call it. And I just want folks out there, the so-called Christians, to understand why they call it Alligator Alcatraz. And again, I want you to understand why they call it Alligator Alcatraz, all right? Because when you think to yourself, they actually spent taxpayer money to do this, it just highlights again why I say a lot of the violence in this country, it's homegrown. It really is. So let's go ahead and get this on the record, and then what we'll do, it's cruel. Yeah, I mean, because I say to myself, why would you do that to alligators? Yeah, why would you do this to alligators, all right? I mean, I definitely know it's to people, but
People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons.
alligators.
Florida has started construction on a migrant detention facility in the Everglades that Florida Attorney General James Othmeyer is calling Alligator Alcatraz.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide.
The site spans about 39 square miles and is a temporary repurposing of a landing and training airport facility between Miami and Naples. The construction started weeks after President Trump ordered federal agencies to reopen the original Alcatraz prison, which is known for being virtually inescapable. Operating the detention facility would cost the state approximately $450 million a year.
So you got $450 million a year out of thin air. These are the same people that claim they don't have any money. But isn't it funny, ladies and gentlemen, how MAGA always has money when it comes to doing some of the most inhumane and cruel acts to humans? Isn't that funny how y'all keep coming up with money to do cruel things? No congressional approval. Yeah. Money for cruelty. Thank you, Kabira. So I don't want to hear you don't have any money to help people on Medicaid, Medicare. I don't want to hear that. You got money. I don't want to hear you don't have money to help keep that subsidy in the tax credit that Biden gave us for our utility bills. You got the money. I don't want to hear you don't have any money for Social Security. You clearly got the money. Even DHHS. All right. I hear they're going bankrupt, trying to deport 20 million people. So they're in the red, and you still somehow manage to find some dollars. But you don't have any money to help everyday Americans. Again, this is why I got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's warm up the lake of fire once again. If a Trump supporter gets into my box and lies to me and says, you know what our greatest threat to our national security is what? Our national debt. Okay, great. So yeah, we got to cut spending. I'm going to say, do me a huge favor. Stop lying, because we know that you will always find money to be cruel, even to Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send these Trump supporters straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
Now, we're going to move into the big, beautiful bill real quickly, and then we're going to go to the audience and chat with people. All right, I just want to understand something. Yesterday, Stephen Miller, he goes on the Fox News, and these folks, they're panicking right now because their July 4th deadline, they're concerned that they just might not meet it because of all the people, the Republican holdouts and, the work Elon is doing to try to make people stop. Actually, it's the work the Democrats are doing. So Stephen Miller, he goes on to Fox News with Sean Hannity, and he goes off on this ridiculous rant. And I just said, you know what? This is worthy of Lake of Fire treatment, because this is the MAGA demon speaking himself.
Entire life in the conservative movement. Since I was a kid in high school, working, dreaming of the day where we could have a piece of legislation like what exists right now, Sean, what President Trump has brought to the precipice of passage. Each and every one of the individual titles in this bill would be considered one of the great achievements in the history of the conservative movement.
Wow.
The title, for example, building the missile defense shield for the United States of America, Sean, so we can be safe, our children can be safe from foreign adversaries in this growing era of intercontinental ballistic missiles as nations race for supremacy. The section on this bill enshrining border and homeland security, this is the most far-reaching border security proposal, homeland security proposal in my lifetime. Sean, not just my lifetime, going back to Eisenhower, going back to since we've had conversations about the border, Sean. I take this seriously. I've stood by the families whose kids have been murdered by illegal aliens. We made them a promise. Most importantly, the American people voted to fulfill that promise in the last election. This bill fulfills it. It is the largest tax cut and reform in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Every single business owner with a dream of manufacturing in America can deduct 100% of that cost to make the American dream come true here in the United States. Here's another one for you, Sean. The largest welfare reform in American history. Work requirements on food stamps. Work requirements on Medicaid, the two largest welfare programs that exist, and now we are attaching work requirements to those programs. Orders of magnitude larger than the welfare reform that Republicans enacted into law in the 1990s. I am sick and tired of the lies about this bill that have been perpetrated by opportunists who are trying to make a name for themselves. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. So, Sean, let's work together. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
Demon talk right there. See, all of that. The only thing he had right was this is a conservative bill. And we all know that when you call it a conservative bill, they're not conserving anything. All they're doing is promoting evil, right? They're promoting hatred. and think about it. If it was such a good bill, why is he having such a hard time convincing everyday Americans, especially the people who voted for him, that it's a good bill? And here's the answer, Stephen. It's because the jig is up. The Democrats have done an outstanding job, ladies and gentlemen, exposing this bill for what it is. All right. This is why you see all of this work being done right now, especially all over social media. W to the Democrats. Because these things that are wrong with the bill, MAGA, you wouldn't know about them if it wasn't because of us. Did you know that? Because guess what we like to do? We like to read. We like to actually do the math and try to understand the impact it's going to have on you. We do that work because we know you're too intellectually, actually, you're not even intellectually, you're just too lazy and uninformed, all right? And so where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen, is because the Democrats are standing up. So let's go ahead and make that clear. Lawrence O'Donnell said it really very well. It'll only take a minute and then we'll get straight to judgment.
Tonight. They don't ask for that often, but they want it tonight, and we're going to give it to them. In actual fact, most members of the Senate, the Republican members of the Senate, absolutely do not want our attention or any attention to what is happening in the Senate tonight, and that's why we are going to give them the attention tonight, too. Only the 47 Democrats in the Senate are working for you tonight if your health care is at risk, working for you in the ways most of you hope your senators would. The Democrats are trying to make government work for you. They are trying to preserve health care coverage for you. They are trying to make the tax code fair to you and not just wildly generous to billionaires, as Republicans are trying to do in their budget bill.
Every time we get into it, they do this to me. But go ahead, we're gonna get this fixed.
One of the laziest political raps that has been out there this year now for months is that the Democrats are doing nothing. You hear it all the time. Democrats are doing nothing in the face of this overwhelming Trump takeover of government. Democrats are doing nothing. That is not true.
That's not true.
Democrats are doing what they can. And tonight they are doing everything they possibly can in the United States Senate to try to peel votes away from the Trump Republican budget bill. And so far they have succeeded in peeling some votes away.
Thank you.
And they need to get more votes from Republicans in order to possibly kill this bill or to even just change it in some way that could be helpful to you. And what we're seeing tonight in the Senate is the willingness to persevere, the willingness to persist.
Yes.
Even when the odds are against you, even when you know you are going to lose the vote on the Senate floor, you're going to lose the vote on your amendment. And you're seeing senators persist, knowing they're going to lose the vote on their amendment because the principle of what they're voting for, they believe is so important. And because there is always the chance, just the chance, of one of these amendments forcing a change in a bill that has been described by some senators as the cruelest bill they have ever seen in Congress.
Wow.
And so senators are on the floor, Democratic senators, working tonight for you. And they have asked for your attention. That's why they are doing this. They are doing this to try to change the bill, but they are doing this at minimum to show you what they are trying to do, show voters what they are trying to do, and show voters the difference between Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. And so tonight, the Democrats in the Senate persist.
W Lawrence O'Donnell. Thank you, Lawrence. And W to the Democrats. So now that I've concluded my monologue, I'll do one more round of Lake of Fire. This is for all of you out there who voted for Donald Trump directly or indirectly, and you see what's happening right now. Are you putting pressure on your elected officials to stop this big, beautiful bill? If not, you got to get out there and do that. But if you sit back here and you are the one saying, oh no, the bill needs to pass, because you are a cruel person, do us all a huge favor, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to warm it up. Do not ever call yourself a Christian around me. Call yourself a hypocrite. Call yourself a liar, a scribe, or even a Pharisee, but don't you dare call yourself a Christian, all right? Because we all know what you are. You're an evil, demonic person, and you don't have love in your heart. You have cruelty. And what I'm going to do is send you where you came from, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
W Zoo. So we got through some very choppy topics, but we had to get through those because, as you can see, politics today is very, very dicey, slicey, and dicey. But we're gonna do it. So let's go to the audience. Do we have anybody out there that wants to come up here and try to defend the things that Donald Trump is doing, or I'll just say it, anybody within the camp, anyone within the party that wants to get up here and express some dissatisfaction with the way I'm running my show and what the Democrats are doing? Just come right up here and reveal yourself. All right, and we'll do what we do. We'll dress you down. I don't mind it. You know, I don't mind it anymore. I used to not want to deal with it. But at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get all issues addressed, all right? So that folks don't walk away thinking what they, oh, I got them figured out. No, you don't got me figured out. What we want is some good old-fashioned common sense government that is actually going to help everyday Americans. A lot of us work very hard. And then you see folks up in the, they're taking advantage of us. And they're just trying to take over the country. And we're not going to allow that, all right? Because we love our country. Let me bring up my good friend, Straight Facts. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine this morning, Zeus. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right. How's the kingdom doing?
Oh, well, they're happy to see you. Oh, my goodness. I can tell right now all of your friends are here. They're showing you a lot of love.
Hey, Zeus.
Yes.
Why did you block my backup account?
I don't think I did. I don't block that much.
I know. That's why I was like, what happened? That was the first
Did you just get blocked today?
Yes, just a minute ago.
Oh, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So maybe it was an accidental block. Yeah,
y'all unblock my backup account, please, Miles. I would appreciate it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so y'all know, it's called Naga Catcher. But anyway.
Well, then that. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of friendly fire. That's why I try to limit the abilities sometimes because I get a lot of that. Oh, Zeus, what did I do wrong, Zeus? And I'm like,
yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I'm cool, I'm friendly.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming up here. Yeah, I'll have to go through it and try to unblock it.
All right, no problem. Let me go ahead and show you the picture that you were looking for, though. Remember you were talking about the Idaho guy?
The domestic tea.
Yeah, this is him. Hold on, let me get out the camera because I look crazy this morning. That's his parent.
That's his stepdaddy and his mama, from what I read. So what do you notice? Well, are you asking me as Zeus, or are you asking me as a brother in America? Which one?
I'm asking you as my brother.
Oh, okay.
Because we already know what time this is.
I can't even say it straight facts, but
I know you can't. I'm not gonna say it. All we can do is just get a good giggle in because it's not funny that those firefighters got injured or got sick like that. That's not what we're laughing about. I want to be clear. But what we're laughing about is the fact that these people are radicalized, and we pretend like they're not. We talk to them every day like they're not, but they're showing it in their actions every single day because they're raising children like this. But yet, MAGA doesn't talk about it.
Yeah. And you brought up a very interesting point. Isn't it incredible? Because, when I used to get in trouble as a child, and, you get caught, my mom or my dad, they say, you see how the devil played you? Look at you. All right. And all the evidence that I did this was just shining like a beacon on a hill in the way. Everything that showed that I did it was there, and they just had the ability to pick it apart. Isn't it interesting that this incident took place and all of this evidence that it's MAGA is all over the internet?
Right.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes. It's crazy because that tells us that they're actually purposely disregarding actual information. And how can you deal with people that hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, but yet they are the evil? You guys aren't fooling us, MAGA. We know exactly who is the evil ones. You guys are up here going to people's place of businesses to arrest these people. You guys are going into the courts when they're trying to do the right thing and arrest these people. I thought that you guys were talking about arresting illegal or undocumented migrants that came into this country. So obviously that's not what you're doing. Obviously you're going after people that are coming over here to try to make a better way in life for themselves. And the fact that we have some of our friends and family members that are like, yeah, cheering us on. Listen, I can understand. I can have empathy and also not cheer it on at the same time. It's reminiscent of what they did to us and what they try to do to us all the time. If they could deport Black Americans, they would, but they can't.
Yeah. No lies detected. If they could, they would.
If
Promise.
they could, they would.
Yeah.
And then the let me touch on this. The girls are fighting. I just love it. I'm not even gonna lie, Zeus. I love to watch Zeus, and I'm not Zeus, but Trump. And look, I love to watch Zeus. I do, but I love to watch Trump and Leon quarrel back and forth because we knew it. You cannot be loyal to anyone if you're a narcissist, but yourself.
Wow.
And both Leon and Trump are the biggest narcissists that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
They knew that we knew that this was all coming down to it. They knew that they were going to be into it at some point, and I hopefully that Zeus, I keep want to call you Zeus because
I'm on here and I'm doing what I do, and it's kind of hard not to. I'm a big deal in a certain way, you know what I mean? Right. But I get it. No offense taken. No offense taken.
Don't get offended, because what I was going to say is that I hope that Leon gets out here and spills all the beans.
Yeah.
For every bit of the bean spilling that Leon is going to give us, because you already know, you know, he said he was going to make an American party, right?
Yeah, the uniparty he's talking about.
Yeah. So guess what?
Not the uniparty. That's what he said is running the country.
Well, he said that's running it. Yeah, we need another party because the uniparty is the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
Do you think he's going to release the Epstein files too? Do you think he should do that?
He's gonna play as dirty as he possibly can play, because what he's gonna do is he's gonna throw all of Deep Trump's business out in the streets, and I'm just waiting for it.
Amen.
And, yes, and he's gonna make the MAGA have to pick. They're gonna have to pick between being a poor soul or a poor soul MAGA or a tech bro Elon.
Oh, I thought you were gonna throw the H on it, a tech bro. You know what? But then I caught what you did. All right.
Because you know, Mom is watching. And
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're gonna sit back and we're gonna watch the infight, and in the meantime, in between time, the only party that you're gonna be able to trust in while they're fighting is gonna be the Democrats.
Amen.
I just love it for them. I hope they have the day and the life that they deserve. And by the way, MAGA, why haven't they arrested any Democrats yet? Why aren't they walking Democrats out hand in hand with handcuffs on? You know why, MAGA?
Why?
Because MAGA, if Democrats are not the deep state, it's MAGA. Because with all the evidence that they claim that they have, Keith said it's coming. With all the evidence that they claim they have on the Democrats, that they must don't have enough to walk them on up out of there, Zeus.
Bingo.
So that means somebody was being lied to.
Yep. And they know they're being lied to, but they love this. They love it so much, straight facts, that they turned around and now they're going to buy some of that cologne. $250. I love being lied to and smelling like Donald Trump's diaper.
That stank butt cologne. See, you almost got me, Zeus. See y'all. Zeus.
I know what's in it. It's got skunk oil or whatever in there. He mixed it in there, and then he threw the ketchup, and because they say he smells like old ketchup too. They threw some of that in there, and these people are running around here in Teslas thinking that they're the hottest thing this summer. I've never seen anything like this.
They are so mixed up. Yes, they are so mixed up. That Durgon perfume gonna smell straight like baby. You know what? You know the yellow kind.
Yeah. And again, it's almost at a point where you're like, y'all just really don't care about yourselves.
They don't. They don't. They can't. They can stop lying and saying that they care about kids. They can stop lying and saying that they care about women. They can stop lying and just go ahead and just tell the truth, because we all know what the truth is. They are a bunch of racist POSs. We called it a long time ago, and the people that are over here, that your friends, the Bears, the States, they can keep on with it. You told them a long time ago. What they're mad about, Zeus, is that you're right. And let's just call a thing a thing. Dame is mad that you're right.
Yep.
So is Janae, and so is Stacy.
Yeah.
Because you told them all about this racist, for a long time. And now they want to be mad because we're showing them exactly who they voted for. So no longer can they say that Trump is not racist. No longer can they say the MAGA movement is not racist. Now we get to see exactly what we've been waiting for. And that's Donald Trump's nasty stank butt on straight in front of everyone for the world to see. Because I believe Elon Musk is about to bring him to his knees. Y'all know I got to get out of here. I got a job to do. Thank y'all so much for the gifts. I appreciate it.
All right. W, straight facts, no lies detected. You did an outstanding job. Yeah, I know that you're totally accurate. Straight facts. These folks, they've been radio silent ever since Elon dropped that news about their dear leader in the Epstein files, and all the distraction tactics, whether it was him going after the great governor Gavin Newsom, taking over the National Guard and sending the Marines out there. None of that stuff is working. So then he escalated it, and then he said, you know what I got to do? I got to go ahead and drop this, this bee over here in Iran, thinking all of this would distract us, and but it's not distracting us. And so to the Trump supporters out there, my question is this: why do you hate your country so much? Why do you hate yourselves so much, MAGA, to this point, to this degree where you are willing to just throw everything away for this guy in the background? Why, MAGA? This is bizarre. I've never seen anything like this in my life. All right, let me bring up my good friend, Brother Swerve. Welcome.
Good morning, my friend. How are
you?
Welcome.
I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm waiting. My infusion therapist will be here any moment now, and let me say good morning to all the beautiful tiny people in the kingdom living in my telephone.
Amen.
It's really weird to me, Zeus. And I'm gonna go back to what happened yesterday, if you'll indulge me for a moment.
Sure.
So Moo decided that he was going to come after people. And I said, come after me. I want all the smoke. And my primary account was taken down. And then Moo found me on my backup account. And Moo got up into the box. And when he realized that he was not going to talk over me, within 40 seconds, he ran. Like the whiny little snowflake that he truly is. He dropped himself down, he ran, he took off running. Okay, and anybody who was in my live yesterday afternoon, they will attest to that. I didn't drop him, I didn't block him, but he took off running. Okay, because this message, this is what MAGA likes to see. Democrats eating their own. And believe me when I tell you, I am all for progression. I am all for change. I am all for, because when you say progressive, that means we are progressing the country forward. We are moving things forward. We are not stuck in the past where women couldn't vote. We're not stuck in the past where black people did not have the right to vote. We are not stuck there. We are moving the country forward. That's what progressive is.
Yes.
It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week.
Yeah.
But this is what really rattles me when it comes to these extreme leftists like Moo. You want to sit here and you say, oh, well, we should primary these people because 128 Democrats voted against impeaching Donald Trump. You have to understand why.
Break it down.
If you impeach Donald Trump and they remove him, then we're stuck with Shady Vance. And let's be real. All Shady Vance cares about is how much time he can get along with the Resolute desk by himself. Okay?
Bingo.
To impeach him, then we're stuck with maggot Mike Johnson.
Oh.
Who doesn't even know that he is the system of checks and balances on the executive branch. So I understand why they did what they did. Some things I don't understand it, and I'll never understand it. But I understand why they voted for the continuing resolution, because it would have given Donald Trump more powers. It would have given him carte blanche to enact the War Powers Act. It would have given him carte blanche to enact martial law had the government shut down. I understand that. But when you leftists, you extreme leftists, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Okay? Because if the government would have shut down, it would have gave Donald Trump these executive powers to do exactly what he wanted to do. Let's go and have some martial law. Let's go and extend the War Powers Act so we can unleash the United States military on the U.S. citizens. Let's do all of these things. Freaking stop it already. Just stop. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. You're sitting here complaining about what's going on in this country right now because of Donald Trump, but then the very minuscule amount of power that Democrats have, you want to continuously take that away from them. Shut up. Sit down, take a back seat, sit all the way down, take several seats, and just shut up. I would say this to Moo and people like him. Shut your mouth. Because you want to take the minuscule amount of power that we have and then run the risk of losing that minuscule amount of power. So what's happening will continue to happen.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, and here's how hypocritical they are. At the end of the day, Zeus, they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is still going on. This is ridiculous. Why didn't we vote for this? Why didn't we vote for that? It's because idiots like you came out and you said, let's do this. And this is Democrats eating their own. If you want to primary somebody, wait till after the midterms. Do it in 2028.
Yeah.
As we have the midterms approaching, let's make sure we do everything that we can to flip every seat that we can. Let's not sit here and talk about this is why y'all lost. This ain't some football team. It ain't a basketball team. It ain't even a minor league.
What do you think about the repeated attacks against Biden and Kamala Harris coming from within the camp too? What do you have to say about that, Brother Swerve? Because I don't understand how that's actually productive at this moment. We're dealing with a situation where we literally have Americans being harmed by the sitting president, and their minds are stuck on 2024. And they don't have anything to say that's positive about the things Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did. It's all Jake Tapper-like stuff. You know what I mean?
So, Zeus, I said this yesterday on my live.
Talk to him.
I said this yesterday on my live, and I'll stand by this. The racism knows no bounds. The fact that you want to call out President Biden and then Vice President Harris and then not Cory Booker, but
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
You didn't call out Nancy Pelosi, who is a white woman. You didn't call out Chuck Schumer, who is a white man. You didn't call out Jamie Raskin, who is also a white man. And please, before you start sitting here with your imaginary pearls in a clutch, yeah, Jamie Raskin, his religion is Jewish, but he's still a white man. You didn't call any single one of them out. You didn't call out Mitch McConnell. You didn't call out Marjorie Taylor Greene. You didn't call out any of these white folks, but you decided you were going to call out the black people. Okay, so miss me with your hypocritical garbage. And Zeus, you pointed it out a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
When you said, oh crap, I can't even remember what you said. I'm sorry, brother. But the fact of the matter is, we don't need this infighting within our own party right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we just don't. And I will stand behind any marginalized community, which is pretty much everybody in the country that is not white and not a Christian nationalist. That's a fact. Okay, we can sit here and we can call a spade all day long. But they will sit here and we're gonna do this. And okay, leftists, sit your radical behinds down and shut up. Because
there won't be a country. I don't think a lot of people understand. There won't be a country if we do not stop this threat that we're dealing with right now. There's not going to be a country. The Trump administration has made it crystal clear they don't care about the rule of law, and the Supreme Court is supporting them. But yet Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is all they can think about. This is why you lost. It's the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen.
And that's where Zeus.
Yeah.
That's where you and I are tripping.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how are you going to call out the people who have done good and continue to try to do good? And you want to call them out, but you won't call out, like you said, this is what I meant to say. The person who came up here yesterday and tried to call you out, they won't sit there and say a doggone thing about what's going on in the current administration. They just want to primary our current Democrats. Okay, if you want to primary them, I'm fine with that. Not now.
Not now. W Swerve, that's a good point.
Hopefully the Democrats will win the Senate, and then the Democrats will have the power to push back on the very things that these extreme lefties are complaining about. And this is why I've been Zeus.
Yeah.
I have been a registered independent for over 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't side with any political party. I never have. I have voted for Republicans in the past.
Yeah.
The president, but on my local level, I have voted for Republicans here in the state of Ohio in the past because they had great ideas and they had a plan. We could read their plans on how they were going to get to the end game. Okay, I love seeing the plan. Okay, they never once questioned Donald Trump's plan when he said he was going to lower your taxes, bring down grocery prices. They never once questioned it. How, Mr. Trump, are you going to do this? And if they did question it, he would say, "Don't worry about it. Hunter Biden's laptop."
And their minds instantly
stop it.
Their minds instantly go to Hunter Biden's junk when you say that. And this is why I say these people aren't serious. These are just some evil people. These people, their hearts are full of hate, and they don't love the country. It's plain and simple to us, right, Brother Swerve?
Absolutely.
All right, then. Well, listen, we're gonna move things along, but I think those who you were talking to, they heard what you said, all right, and they got to meditate on it. Seriously.
No, I completely agree with you, Zeus. I'm gonna go ahead and drop myself down. Looks like
all right.
The therapist just got here.
Okay.
Before I go, I'm gonna say this: you all be well, you all be safe, and doggone it, have fun while you do it.
Yeah, all right. There you go, W Swerve, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. No lies detected. See, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we don't mind, getting regular Americans up here to express and, say what's on their mind, because that's what it takes to save this great country of ours. So, we've heard a lot. All right. I'm going to open it up. Do we have any brave Trump supporters that are, that want to come up here and defend their dear leader? All right. We don't got much time left on this show. All right. And by the way, I'll be on my main account tomorrow. Zeus. I'll be on my main account tomorrow. The sanctions, they will be lifted. All right. So we're going to try to continue on. Where are the Trump supporters at? I want to know where these people are that support Donald Trump right now. I saw the poll numbers, and it was on CNN MAGA. It says over 60% of the Republicans, they're still supporting Donald Trump's so-called victory in November, even though I have questions about how he won. I really do wish Elon would just go ahead and let that switch flip, release the files, and then prove to us how you helped Donald Trump win the election. And I don't think it was by convincing people that Trump had an amazing plan. I don't think so, because what was the plan, right? So if Elon is listening, and I know he has access, please release the Epstein files and show us the data, show us all that information that you utilized in order to somehow miraculously take the election from Vice President Kamala Harris, who we all saw had bigger rallies. She was raking in so much money your head could spin over and over again, and still there'd be more money. And then all of a sudden, he wins all the swing states. The odds of that happening, when I did the calculations, you have a better chance of flying to Mars, opening up a business and becoming very successful, and then coming back and doing the same thing. You have a better chance of doing that than Donald Trump had a chance of winning all 7 swing states. So there's definitely some questions, all right? W. Zeus. Yeah, he won all the swing states. Put a 1 in the chat. If you're a Trump supporter, what I'll do is I'll bring you right on up. It's improbable. I completely agree. If you're a Trump supporter, identify yourselves in the chat. I know you're out here. I know my haters. I know the Zeus haters are out here, and they go, "Oh, I don't think so, Zeus. I don't want to deal with you and the judgment that you bring." All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Do we have any brave souls? The conservative Democrat acts like he wants to talk. No, he doesn't. The conservative, he does not want to talk. I've dealt with the conservative Democrat, all right, and he doesn't want to do anything. Let's bring up Dr. Lex. Good morning, Dr. Lex.
Hey,
welcome.
You caught me off guard.
Oh, you want to come back up? We can swap out.
I'm good. I was just
yeah.
Yeah, you know something? I think that I'm gonna jump outside. I think that Elon Musk is getting ready to. I talked to some of my friends that in DC, they're in politics, and they said that he has tried to release stuff already, but the DOJ is under Trump's control.
Oh, he doesn't need the DOJ though. He doesn't need it. He can do.
So what he's going to do is he's going to do what Assange did, I think, because he's going to do one of those things. Now Trump did threaten to deport him this morning.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Trump?
Because he's scared he's going to share the goods, and that website that you were talking about the election.
Yeah,
that is some serious business there, And
because the data doesn't add up. People I've spoken to, they said they voted for Kamala, but then it's blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I know what you're saying.
When you have stuff like that, you can't help but wonder, were a certain group of people in this country disenfranchised with their votes?
I think that we were bamboozled there, Zeus. I think that there were some anomalies that, like I said, that website that you sent me to, it showed me exactly what you were talking about, because you kept talking about it, and I was like, let me go look at this really quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in my bathroom.
Yeah. Okay, as long as you dress, I see the jeans there. Because if you wasn't dressed, I was going to have to say, whoa.
I have on shorts. But what I'm saying is the when I looked at that website and I looked at the numbers and the anomalies in said numbers, I was like, dang, Zeus, man, wow, dude. Wow. And I think that what's going to happen with Elon Musk is he's about to release a doctrine, and he's going to tell it all, because every day it keeps getting worse and worse and worse between the two of them.
Yeah.
And here we are out here.
I don't know the name of the website. It's on a video I posted. I see the comments. It's on a video I recently posted. You can go check it. I think I did it maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. You know what, man? You really, wow. That blew my mind, dude.
Yeah.
That's why people should come on this page and listen to what you say every day, because you are a source of information. And when somebody goes and looks up said information, it's accurate.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody here lying. My hair is wet. But ain't nobody gonna lie. Zeus is not going to tell you any lies.
No. What do I get out of doing that?
And another thing is, his mom is here watching.
Yeah.
And while she's here watching, she's not gonna. She'll catch him outside.
Thank you, W. Dr. Lex. He knows how this goes.
But I always thought from the time that the election happened that something was wrong, But what you showed me, that, phew, wow.
Yeah. I don't, because right after we lost, right? You don't want to turn into MAGA and just start flat out denying the results of the election. So you got to actually let the facts play out, right? And we didn't show up at the Capitol, but where we're at right now, there are legitimately a lot of concerns. And I know that Elon also had access, cyber ninjas when Trump lost the last election. I think it was cyber ninjas in another company. But Elon, they had the ability to access those computers and do the reverse hacking, so to speak. So they knew what to do. And so you had to sit back and say, it doesn't really make sense that Kamala Harris lost that bad. I mean, they didn't even get close. It was like a blowout. And I'm like, that doesn't happen anywhere.
Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you in a relatively scientific manner. When you access all the voting machines, there is a okay. So let's not call it those kind of machines. Let's say I wanted to change all the cash registers in the United States of America to add 10 cents per cash register on top of the price of one item in the store, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you get a box, or it's a micro transmitter about the size of your pinky nail, and you can integrate that into said circuitry of said computer systems.
Yeah.
And then whenever this is going to transmit and send data back and forth through microwave technology, which you can transmit from satellites.
Yeah.
Into receivers that will retransmit it into a different signal across the spectrum through using the same system as your cable networks.
Yeah.
See, that way you can access certain things and change certain things, just like his cars. His cars can repossess themselves. If you buy a Tesla and you don't pay for it, it will drive itself back to the car dealership. So if you think that somebody has cars that can repossess themselves, and you getting ready for work, and your car goes down the street by itself back to the dealership, what makes you think that? Why don't you think that he couldn't do that with some very, very simple machinery?
And again, I got to stop the chat. What you're saying to these Trump supporters, it sounds far out, but I don't think they understand that that's what the Tesla can do. I've seen Teslas deliver themselves to people. So if it could deliver itself to you, why do you think it can't take itself from you and go back to the place because you didn't pay your bill?
Oh, it's happening in Tennessee a lot because these people went out and bought Teslas because Elon Musk was with Trump. I'm going to get me a Tesla, Zeus. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me one of them Teslas and I'm going to take it out there and I'm going to try to plow my cornfield with it because it's supposed to be electrical and all bona fide and stuff. And then they got down here and their jobs got cut off and the FEMA got cut off. And now they don't have any money, so their Teslas are repossessing themselves.
Wow. Think about that.
It's the devil. He's in the machine. The machine's driving off.
Yeah, and they voted for this Dr. Lex, so this is why I don't have any I don't have any kind of, I don't feel bad when I hear about them actually going through stuff like this. They voted for this. They did it willingly. They did it out of spite of what the Democrats were saying. And so, yeah, there has to be some sort of consequence for choosing to do evil. All right. And that's what this is. That's partially what this show is about. Right. That's why I do the Lake of Fire, because how else are we going to get it across to you folks that you made a seriously terrible and evil decision?
You got to think about this. You're dealing with a person that in a room on national television, he's looking around at the ceiling like he's in the Sistine Chapel looking at Michelangelo. Because he's on party supplies is what I call them.
Yeah.
Illegal party supplies. So he's in there and he's higher than a giraffe's ass. And what makes you think that he won't push a button and let everything go? What makes you think that those Teslas can become weapons if he wants them to? He controls all of them with a master control center.
Yep. And this is what they voted for.
He's mad at Trump. Now every time Trump sees a Tesla, he's like, you know what? I know that thing might come get me.
And you know he has the robots Optimus too. If I were Trump, I'd relax on Elon real quick and just ask yourself, Why am I even having this argument with this guy? This guy, he's definitely cut from a different cloth. Maybe I should just go ahead and comply and drop this whole big, beautiful bill thing and move on to something a little more palatable for the American people, mainly for his supporters. I wish he would just pass an executive order that just takes his supporters and just, do what you're trying to do in the big. If you're a Trump supporter, get off of Medicaid, go get a job, right?
You know something? If I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't use an electric toothbrush, a vibrating massager, a can open machine. I wouldn't use anything that had any kind of electrical power to it, because this guy has scientists that can get things to do stuff.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, he's gonna be in there, and there's gonna be a Walkman chasing him around with a baseball bat.
A Walkman? Come on, I haven't seen a Walkman in ages. I did see a payphone the other day, and I said, wow. They still make
He's
these.
gonna be getting mean mugged by his iPad.
Yeah. But anything is possible at this point because I do believe most Trump supporters, they're still stuck in maybe the '90s. So anything is possible, Dr. Lex. All right, now I gotta move it on.
His Motorola flip phone's gonna get up and start walking.
There you go.
Zeus, man, hey, congratulations on finishing your album.
Well, it's not finished. I'm still laying down some stuff. All right, but it's.
Do you want me to? Do you want me to send you some more music? Or are you gonna get on one of my records or what? What you gonna do?
Well, we can do a little bit of that and something else. So yeah, go ahead and plug me in, Dr.
I'm gonna
Lex.
get behind you as far as the release is concerned and the outreach and things like that. I'm gonna jump behind you on that.
Okay.
From the stuff that you played is amazing.
Thank you.
It sends a good message. I think that you should do animated videos, kind of like the Saturday morning cartoons. I'm just a Bill, except you do. Get somebody to do that. That would be perfect.
Yeah,
that would be perfect for that album.
Well, it's going to be an educational experience, but it's also going to be relatable in a lot of different ways. Because what we got to do is, I started it, and a lot of people, they don't even know the address to the White House. I said, this is crazy. You got folks on TikTok. And you say to them, they host live, especially on the right, 1600 Pennsylvania. What's that? Knucklehead, it's the address to the White House. W. Zeus.
I lived up the street from the White House.
They don't know.
I lived up 16th Street, across from the Envoy by Malcolm X Park. And straight down the street was the White House.
Okay.
But you know what? Clinton was in there, and it was all good.
Tell him. Tell him.
Zeus, bro, I'll catch you later.
All right.
Out.
All right.
All love. I'm not trying to expose myself. Don't worry.
No, because I would have to shut the live down. But thank you, Dr. Lex. All right. Thank you. No lies detected. Oh, look at this. We get to bring up the beautiful Dr. Keisha. Welcome, Dr. Keisha. I see you, Kabir. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Beautiful. Listen, hold on. I got to do this. To the gentlemen in my chat, y'all better show some decorum out there because I know how y'all like to get and tell the devil not today, not this morning. All right, control yourselves. All right, Dr. Keisha, I put the fire out for you. All right, we shouldn't have any issues.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing okay.
And Eugene, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was about to say something to Eugene, but I think he figured out he's. Okay, how are you doing though? You're back and you're doing great, I see.
I have the week off from Locums. Locums is crazy. I'm headed to a photo shoot actually for some branding photos, but it's all right.
There's a little bit of a muffle. I can kind of make out what you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm headed on a photo shoot to do some branding photos. So.
Oh, you're going to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Keisha Davis. Wow. You do what you want when you're popping, all right? You woke up like that. I totally get it. Well, what's the latest and the greatest on your end in terms of, the things you tend to, bring to the kingdom and keep us all informed with?
Okay, so next Monday, we're going to have an episode coming out on vaccine hesitancy. Mm. And it is really deep because it goes through how this was planted in the United States.
Okay.
And one of the most recent things, I don't know if you knew that RFK Jr. disbanded the entire vaccine advisory panel. Those 12 researcher scientists.
Yeah.
So it's like having a baseball team and you being the coach, you never played baseball, me being the head of a baseball team, and then getting rid of all the star players and replacing them with my friends.
What? How does this impact? Because I gotta do this. It's not like I don't know, but make this make sense to the person sitting in a trailer, perhaps somewhere in the middle of rural America, with their Diet Coke and Sean Hannity's blasting. How would this impact this person? Because this is what I need them to understand.
Okay, let me put it simply. All of you guys were afforded the ability to be safe in this country because said immunizations have protected you from getting rubella, from getting many other things, right? Because we don't have a measles. I don't know why measles is coming back. Measles is higher than it's ever been since it had first outbreak. That's how bad it is. So you were afforded these things. You know why? Your parent took you to the doctor and you got the immunizations. You had to have them to go to school. Now we've got a whole administration that is politicizing science, and you are now having the option to where kids won't get that. Literally what they're doing, this is how scary it is, okay? Measles is now at 1,300 cases and people are unalived and hospitalized. It was preventable. Now you have an administration that wants to review this new panel, you guys, is an imposter panel. They want to review the whole vaccine schedule again. People that are non-qualified, they say we need to look into the vaccine schedule. Then there is a preservative in flu vaccines. It's called thimerosal. They said we want to get rid of that. This is a preservative that's been used. It has mercury in it, but you know what else has mercury in it? Fish that you eat.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it has mercury. It has low levels of mercury.
Wow. So they get rid of these 12 people on the panel. And now what you're saying to me is that I might be more vulnerable to some of these diseases and things like that we've already made significant progress in terms of how we deal with and manage. I might be more vulnerable to that because you know what? Maybe the kids don't need it. How does that affect me? I'm an older person. I've already been vaccinated. Why do I need to worry about the kids?
Well, you need to worry about yourself too, first of all. Sometimes your immunity can wane. Say you become immunocompromised, then you also are at risk. Or say you get sick with something and you give it to a loved one that doesn't have the ability to ward it off. Or you get leukemia. I mean, we're getting more cancer than ever before. So what they're doing is that my friend, she's an immunologist, allergist, and she's actually part of the integrative medicine health community. So most of her parents don't believe in this, but she talks to them. She said she's afraid next year that we won't have vaccines available by insurance.
Wow. So once again, it's another example, in my opinion, actually based on what you're saying, of just how Trump wants to harm Americans. It's almost like he's got a vendetta out there, and he just, for some reason, hates this country and even his own supporters. It just seems like he doesn't care about science anymore.
Well, he cares about it for him though, because you do know that he's getting. You remember when he got C-19?
Yes. When he got C-19, I remember this. He did get the jab, right?
Got the jab, but he also took the emergency medicine.
Oh.
Yeah. He took the medicine that's not afforded to everybody else.
Yeah. So that means that if I were a Trump supporter and I like to go around on this app and try to say, "Oh, you look like you took that," what I'm doing is showing how ignorant I am because perhaps I should have took that.
Because he took it, yeah. And RFK Jr. and his family. That's what's crazy. He's now saying, let's don't afford access to the general people to something that I've had and my children have had. And again, even if his children were to get measles, they would be able to be in a VIP section of the hospital. Everything would be afforded to them. If you go to the hospital, are you getting VIP treatment?
No, Dr. Lex. No, I wouldn't get VIP treatment at all. I'd get not bottom of the barrel, but I'd get some mediocre treatment. I would still be demanding for better treatment, to be honest with you. Wow.
Put something in perspective. You know, with what's going on in the Middle East. Oh, thank you. That we should be concerned, right? People are concerned about what's going to happen here. Are we safe? You know what we really need to be concerned about? You know the biggest thing that can unalive people? is disease and what is called bioweapons.
Wow.
I do this all the time. First of all, you have an administration that has set us up. It's easy. It's really easy. We don't believe in immunizations, so they can eat measles. Bring measles here. We don't believe in C-19. There's a new variant, the razor blade throat symptoms. Just spark up C-19 again because you guys don't believe in the basic things of science. A bioweapon can wipe us out right away. Spanish flu unalived more people than WW1.
Wow, wow, wow. This is to me another example of just why I say the most dangerous thing in this country, you believe it or not, Doc, I say this, you could correct me if I'm wrong, is an uninformed Trump voter. Isn't that the dangerous thing? Because they go out here and they willfully say, bring chaos, bring destruction all upon us, whether it's, physically or financially. These folks don't care about themselves.
They don't.
Yeah.
But you guys need to care about yourself because I'm going to tell you it's about to get really ugly if this continues. Because what they're about to do is bring in their facts, right? Their research and their facts, and basically all the CDC, FDA. I don't know who these people. These are imposters. So what the Academy of Pediatrics does is they're actually boycotting the vaccine panel. This is big. This is unprecedented. They're boycotting it, and the pediatrics said, "Do not follow. We're not following what they're saying. We're going to follow what we say." Now, I hope that insurance companies cover it, right, Zeus? Because there are parents that can't afford it and probably won't if they can't get it covered. So,
well, I hope so too. But I honestly, at this point, Doc, we're at a point now where I still have to say it. There has to be some sort of consequence for these people. And if they should happen to take their last breath because they don't have any coverage, I'm going to say, it is what it is.
Survival of the fittest and survival of the wisest. I mean, at this point, like this is so simple. Like a storm is coming. Are you going to have the straw house and the pigs, or are you going to have the brick house? And those of us that are eating right, also believing in science, getting immunized, going to our doctor, getting our screening, all of that, the storm's not going to get you. So unfortunately, I don't have time to pick people up.
And me neither. Dr. Keisha Davis. I mean, you just dropped so much information and knowledge on these people. If they don't know how to utilize what you gave them, then yeah, shame on them. Now, before you get up out of here, this photo shoot, how do we get to see the final product? Is that going to be something you publish online?
Yes,
or
it will.
yes,
It'll be part of the whole Medical Collective podcast or my own. Yeah, I'll be filtering them out. But the website for the Medical Collective is coming very, very soon. It's going to be really nice.
Well, I look forward to seeing it and helping you to get that thing going, all right? And as always, Doc, you're more than welcome to come visit us. It's an honor to have you on the show once again. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Dr. Keisha Davis. And don't worry, I took care of the gentlemen in the chat that were misbehaving, all right? They knew better, all right? Oh my God! Yeah. Somebody has to keep these gentlemen in check, ladies and gentlemen, and it's me, Big Zeus, W Zeus, and again, W Dr. Keisha Davis. Good morning, Kabira. How are you doing, sis?
Good morning, Zeus. Good morning, Kingdom. How's everybody?
We're doing great, especially now that you're here. I did see you earlier. You were saying something in the comments about some law enforcement activity taking place in Arizona. Is that what I heard? Yes, I don't know if that's why you came up here, but that's something I wanted to get clarity on.
Yeah, a few things. I checked the source, and it's true. And U.S. Marshal, who works in Arizona at the federal building, was picked up and detained by ICE. See, this is what happens when you're looking under every rock, in between every bush, to try to find something, a boogeyman.
Yeah.
Now you pick up a U.S. Marshal. Of course, they let him go after they found out he was a U.S. Marshal. But yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But
so everybody's suspicious when you're this paranoid and you're this wired. This is why wow.
Yeah, everybody is, you can just look at them and tell they just might be trouble. You know what I mean? But
I know.
I want to thank, first of all, I had to take a break from TikTok and the discourse and the madness, and then I listened to Moo yesterday for half a second or so because I had to do some things with my mother.
Okay,
said,
okay. God bless your mother. Hope she's
goodness.
doing good.
Oh yeah, she's making it.
Yeah, okay.
What was I gonna say? So I had to take a break, right?
Yeah.
So later I said, well, I don't know if you ever heard of Fee Talks Back. I went, and I want to thank Dr. Lex. I hope you're in the chat still, Dr. Lex. I want to thank you for covering up. I was in her chat box, and some retired master gunnery Marine, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he gets up to do something. He was topless. Zeus, the man, gets up and he was stone cold, buck naked, and everybody on her live saw this man just prancing around. I mean, this is MAGA. This is MAGA. No self-respect, nothing. Just hanging for the world to see. So, this is the world we're living in now.
Wow.
Right?
That's crazy. No shame. That's why I do the booze and shame. I did it because I realized MAGA has no shame, so we have to give it to them. You see what I'm saying? There's a message in this. So you got to give it to them. That's why I do the whole Lake of Fire, because we got to give them something they don't have. They're devoid of it, so to speak. Wow.
Exactly. And Mr. Asler, who now has his on name change or something, he's changed his name. Look, Asler, she's beautiful, talking about Dr. Keisha, but you stay away from Democratic women.
Thank you,
W. You're over in the MAGA pile with the toothless women wearing the red hats.
Yeah.
You just stay away from Dr. Keisha and any other Democrat woman.
Yeah.
Are independent.
Yeah. Yeah, because no one wants you. We'll be honest. I'll tell you to your face, Asler. Nobody wants you. The best you could do is have a check on you. And from the way I've seen it, it doesn't even look like you got that. So just stop. Stop. Nobody wants you. Thank you, Kabir, for pointing that out. And because we don't want to allow folks like him to even make America any more worse. What bothers me about him is he came from Venezuela. And it's like he's turned himself into a T.
He's I don't, no one can predict the future.
Yeah.
But he's playing in a slippery slope, praising these people, because if they picked up a U.S. Marshal, if they've taken away temporary protective TPS, whatever.
Yeah, status.
Yeah. From Venezuelans and Cubans, and also now Haitians, even though, Asler, your skin tone may be the same as mine, but soon as you open your mouth, you give it away. So if an agent were to stop you, or the police were to stop you, or whatever condition may happen, and you open your mouth, you may be like the U.S. Marshal. They may detain you.
Yeah.
And don't say it won't happen, because it happens to American citizens every day.
She's not lying, Asler. And alter ego, stop being racist in my comment section, all right?
It's not racist, Asler. It's the truth. I mean, if
they
Black America. Go ahead, Zeus.
No, you're right. If they detain a U.S. Marshal, they detain the father of the 3 Marines, right? We have so many examples. They detained the woman from Chile who was just here visiting. I don't get how Asler, in the world he is, knowing he's a person of color from Venezuela, he's not a Native American citizen, not like that Native American, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Why would he be riding around here flying high? And I get it. He went to the White House after Trump won the election. He's trying to paint this picture that he's an American. And like you said, Kabir, folks like him, they open their mouths. No one's going to buy it. No one's going to buy it.
A few years back, I had gotten pulled over by the police. Well, it was about maybe 20 years ago, but this was the last time I had ran across the police, and I was speeding.
Yeah.
And so they said, "Oh, well, you have a warrant for your arrest." I said, "For my arrest?" They said, "Yeah." So they take me down. I go to court. They said, "Oh, you didn't pay off that ticket." Right?
Oh.
So I said, "No, Your Honor, I paid that ticket off." "Well, no. So they threw me in the clinker, as they call it. They kept me there for about 8 hours, and they said, "You're released." I said, "What?" They said, "Yeah, we found out you had paid your ticket." So what I'm saying to you, Asler, is don't think because you're doing the right thing, you still can't get caught up.
Bingo. Thank you. Tell him. He knows. He knows.
But anyway, Zeus, I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that out about the U.S. Marshal and the man who exposed himself to the world.
Yeah.
MAGA is deep. MAGA is deep.
Yeah. Just it's sick. They're deep and they're sick. And again, this is why it's important that we keep talking like we do and not sugarcoating it anymore. These folks are at some point they're gonna have to pay the price. So thank you again, my sister W. Kabira. All right, you too. Stay safe out there and don't be looking at none of that stuff again. All right, if they do it, you just swipe on out of that app because you know that's the spirit of lust trying to do something to you. All right.
Yeah, lust was strong. I'm telling you, it was strong. To see a MAGA demon hanging, I tell you what, I can't unsee what I saw. It was a mess.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I don't even want to go there mentally, but I pray. I'm sending prayers your way. Hopefully that thought gets purged away from your mind and you get back to, being in a place of innocence, so to speak. All right. Somebody wrote it wasn't much to see. I have to side. It wasn't much to see because we know
it really wasn't. It really wasn't. My baby toe, looks a little bit better. But anyways, you run your business in the kingdom.
All right, you too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Kabir. No, lies detected. Oh wow. All right, let's see. Do we have any Trump supporters out there that want to come up real quick? Because I kind of like the direction the show's going. I think it's better that we just sit MAGA down and they actually listen to the information we're sharing, because they know right now they don't really have much to stand on. These folks know it. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter, or send me a guest request, and what I'll do is I'll try to bring you on up here. All right. We don't got much more. We don't got much to do this. Oh, okay. Is on. Oh, this must be this is Asler.
Hey, how you doing, Sales? Yeah, I got 3 accounts, man, because you always block my comments. I don't know.
I don't do anything like that, but
your people block my comments, so that's why I'm here.
Well, okay, so you're a victim.
You know me. I always respectful. I just some MAGA saying whatever I want because we won, and I don't see why your people blocking my comments. That's it.
Well, I have the best moderators on TikTok, Asler. So.
Well, you better talk to them, man. That's not right.
No. So it's always something.
You got people talking here. You got people
Asler,
and then you don't even have the chance to let me speak, right? So that's not fair.
It's always something with you. It's always something. I'm starting to see. No, Asler, you sound like a broken record. Every day, I know exactly what you're going to say. We won the election. I love Donald Trump. We will vote for Donald Trump. Do I need to play the song? It's the same thing over and over. But you don't have any evidence that none of the stuff that he promised you has happened. So
gas is down.
How much is the gas?
$2.40 right now in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay, is that the same as $1.98 though?
It's no, I don't care.
Okay, could you do? How much was your utility? How much was your? How many? How many?
Crying about?
How much? How many? How big is your house? How many? How big is the?
I'm divorced right now. My wife.
How many square? How many square feet was the house that you? Or how many is it that you're living now? Are you in an apartment?
Pool, I got 5 rooms. I got a bigger house. I don't know about
where do you live? What closet do you live in now?
Well, I got an apartment, a small apartment, a townhouse.
How many square footage was the wife? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to
What's
understand.
the whole point?
Asler, I got to explain something to the audience. Asler was happily married until he voted for Donald Trump. Now he's living in a closet. How many
My
square?
wife voted for Donald Trump. She voted for Donald Trump. What's the issue now?
Okay, great.
My kid is 80. So
Asler,
he was 80. He
Asler,
voted for Donald Trump.
Asler.
So what's the matter? What was the issue now?
But you're not
Now
together.
you're trying to implant. Now you're
Asler,
trying to implant I get divorced
Asler.
because Donald Trump, right?
Let me do the talking. I'm leading. I'm pretty good at figuring
I know,
stuff
because
out. So
That's the
Asler,
thing.
how
man.
many square
you make
footage?
history about people on your life.
Asler,
That's the thing
how
I
many?
don't like about you. You just start making history. Why you don't ask me? Why you gotta start talking shit
Why are
about
you?
me?
Why are you? Listen, please don't curse on the show. We're not going there. You can ask me any question you want to as well, Asler. I'm trying to
It's
see.
not. It's just because you try to make a history of me. Just ask me.
Asler,
You can ask me.
Asler. You volunteered to come up here, correct?
Yes, because you got a lady talking about me.
Stop. So if you volunteer to come up here, you can't turn around and act like I'm forcing you to be here and make you take this,
No,
Asler.
I didn't say that.
So Asler, I wanted
You
to make
tried
sure
to say my wife get divorced because I voted for Donald Trump. That's BS. You know that.
Asler, okay, great, but the rest of us know what's really happening. I asked you a question
What
about
really
your
happened?
utility
All right.
bill. I'm asking
This
you
is your
about
show.
your.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, how much is your utility bill at the in the closet you're living in now? Because you said it's about 800 square feet, 200 square feet.
He didn't say no numbers. I don't go by numbers. I told you it's a townhouse.
Well, how much is your bill? How much
Why
is your
that
utility?
now?
How much is your utility bill?
Why you want to know about that shit?
That's the second time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that he called it an expletive like that, the fact that he called his utility bill an expletive, it's doing a huge number on him. All right, because if it was affordable, he would have been like, "Oh, it was only $20. It's only $50." But when it's hitting him over the head, oh, it's an expletive now. So, Asler, let me get you back off mute, champ, because what I'm trying to do is help you see something maybe you don't see. So your utility bill is hitting you in the head. It's hitting you over the head every month. You're tired of it, huh?
I know. I'm traveling next month. You know that. I like to travel. I got the money to do it.
No.
You can go to my profile.
No. Okay, so your utility bill is costing you a lot. When was the last time you traveled?
You the one. Oh, come on, man. You the one saying that. I ain't talking about my bill. I don't want to talk about my bill. I just saying. Okay. You saying my bill had a toll on me. I don't have no toll because at least I have money to go travel. You can go to my profile and see me every month going to somewhere, right?
Where are you going next? Where are you going next?
I don't know. Probably I go with my girlfriend to Canada. Their son out in Canada right now.
Okay, so you think you're going to go to Canada right now with your girlfriend?
Toronto, well, Vancouver, actually. Okay. You're gonna see my post.
Okay, all right. Asler. Well, listen. So we're not getting anything. Your gas is $2.40. Your utility bill your utility bill is honestly through the roof. Do you got any credit cards on you?
I got one.
Yeah. What's the interest rate on that?
Damn, it's like 20% right now.
Dang. Woo! Well, Donald Trump said he was going to cut that in half. Hold on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a certified Trump supporter. His credit card interest, he said, is 50%. 50%, Asler. I think that's what I heard him say because it's kind of hard to.
Come on, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Asler, I can take over because you can't control yourself, ladies and gentlemen. He can't, and I'm going to get to judgment. But thank you, Asler. I don't want you to take anything. I'm afraid to go any deeper into this mess, Asler. But I've heard enough. This guy hates himself. And this is exactly why. And I can understand. And I don't want to get into his personal business, but sir, you're bad with money. You still support Donald Trump. You believe his lies. You don't have any evidence Donald Trump is delivering, Asler. And then you're running up your expenses because you somehow managed to go find another woman to bring into this mess. And sir, it just shows me that there's obviously something wrong up here, all right? And what I'm going to do, Asler, is this. Let me warm up this lake of fire for you, Asler. It didn't take long for us to realize that you've been sold a bad bill of goods from your dear leader, Donald Trump. Yeah, he hasn't delivered anything for you. And yet you sit on TikTok and you still openly support him with all you have, all your heart, soul, and body, and no one's buying it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send Asler where he came from, straight to hell! With a 50% credit card interest rate.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
W Zeus. Yeah. I can't take it anymore. That's the most bizarre story I've ever heard, and that's typical MAGA behavior. But Asler, you know what I forgot to ask you, or I forgot to say this. If you really want to do something to spice things up in the relationship, you can go onto Donald Trump's website and buy you and her, some of that victory cologne. You just need $500. Because it's $250 a bottle, right? And it's going to be his and hers. And so, yeah, you'll need at least $500, and then you need to pay the shipping and handling. And it has some skunk oil in it, and they got some ketchup smell and, some of that scent that comes out of his diaper. And trust me, I hear it works wonders in the relationship. I'm telling you, if you thought she was all over you before, once you drop that $500, she'll be really all over you. Is it? Someone wrote toilet water. All righty then. All right, let me bring up my good friend Bounce. Welcome, Bounce. How are you this morning, Bounce?
Morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. You're doing okay? I haven't checked in with you for quite a while.
Oh yes, I'm doing amazing.
Okay.
Taking care of my mama. And
how's mom is doing? Yeah. Good.
She's doing amazing.
That's what I like to hear.
Yes, and the dogs are doing good. They eat better than MAGA.
Woo, the dogs eat better than MAGA. I mean, good. I like to hear that too.
Yes, they do. They eat a very healthy raw diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good. But what I wanted to say was, I was looking.
There's a lot of noise back there. Something just changed?
So Gardner is out.
Oh, I can barely hear you. Barely hear you. Yeah, I don't know. She's
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just watching how these Republicans are they're just so, I don't know what to say about them. No compassion, nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad to think that we've come to a point where they don't care about children, senior citizens,
right,
education, food. They care about nothing. But all these people that voted for him, when it starts to affect them in those red states, they're going to be crying because their mothers are going to be out on the streets because they can't stay in the rehab facility anymore. And see, for people like us, we were brought up to take care of our own. So my mother will never experience that. I can't say the same about them because, a lot of them like to leave their parents in the rehab and never come back to see them.
Ain't that something?
But they take their money every month.
Yeah.
Or whatever is left.
Yeah.
And so I just find it appalling. And I wanted to say about the My Pillow man, he's completely broke now, right?
Yeah, Mike Lindell, yeah.
Yes, he is brokety broke. And so I think Elon probably, everybody that's affiliated with Trump, he uses them. And then once he uses, even Giuliani, and I don't even like him, but once he uses all these people, look what happens to them. Their lives are never the same. So Elon probably woke up at the right moment because the same thing would happen to him. Now, I don't know if Tesla's ever going to recover, but Trump can make it very hard for him with his contracts and everything else. So he should have thought about that before he went in and destroyed people's lives by taking their jobs away from them. So for me, I have no compassion for Elon.
None
whatsoever.
Yeah, none whatsoever because they brought it on themselves. And again,
They brought it on themselves.
yeah, and we're going to make sure that when the blame needs to be shared and passed around, that they take full accountability for it. Because, again, it's not the Democrats that are trying to do this to the American people at all.
No. And even though we might not agree with some of the things that they do, because sometimes I don't agree with Hakeem Jeffries. I think that just my opinion. For me, I don't think he fights hard enough. But that's just my opinion. Secondly, Moo, is that his name?
I've never heard it called that, but I know who you're referring to.
Okay. I remember him coming up on your panel when they announced that VP Harris was running, and he wasn't for it. And then all of a sudden, he came back to you live and said he supported her. Do you remember that? I do.
Vaguely, I think. I know I remember the issues around Biden and then the Kamala coming in, but yeah, I'll take your word.
Yeah. So I think he's just his tongue is like a double-edged sword. And then for Vegas Girl, those two need to have an affair. Moo and Vegas Girl.
Wow. I mean, they both claim to be progressive, so you never know. I mean, if it's really love, then that's what this is all about. I don't mind facilitating a love connection. Some people used to know me as the love guru, so that's actually a great idea. Bounce. If you need love, and they know who they are, and you need me to go ahead and make that happen, I'll make a special exception and get you both up in the box. You got to be willing to be honest though about your faults and your red flags and stuff like that. But we'll help them, strike some sort of agreement and perhaps go on a date, sip some coffee. They like that iced coffee.
Well, I wanted to ask you, were you aware of the prices of medicine right now? Why I know so much is because when I go to pick up my mama's medicine, before I was paying like $47 for all her medicine. That included the insulin, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm at $110 for a month's supply of medicine. Because the insulin cost me $85 for 5 pens.
And it used to cost under Biden how much? I remember
35. And the reason why I don't go to Walmart and get her insulin is because it's a lower grade of insulin. It's not the same. So, but as you know, once you fall into that donut hole, and that's what they call it, is a donut hole. Your medicine becomes more expensive. So then you have to start paying out of pocket. So once she falls into that donut hole, I'm probably going to be paying like $500 a month for the insulin. And it's the truth. I'm not telling you a story. A lot of people should know that. Now, when you go to buy the needs that, incontinence supplies and stuff like that, I have to go to a friend of mine, Diva Girl. She told me to go to Goodwill and places like that, where sometimes you can go in there and you can find a case of incontinence supplies, and you can pay like $13-14 for the whole box.
Wow.
So for me, I get in a panic because if I see she gets down low, then I'm running around here to Goodwill and Salvation Army looking to see if they have incontinence supplies. Now, if I have to buy them, we do buy them. But if I can find them cheaper, then I'm going to do that. So for all the people that have loved ones at home, my mother don't qualify for anything because of her income. So she doesn't qualify for any type of benefits to help her with her incontinence supplies. So for anybody that falls up under that, like I do, start shopping at your Goodwill, at your Salvation Army, and look online and see if you can see places that donate the continence supplies so that you don't run out or you have to pay extra to get those things. So that's all I wanted to say. And like I said, my neighbors, all of them are Trumpers. As soon as I can celebrate this man being gone, I'm going to take out my barrel and I'm going to smoke up the whole... food drops on the ground, I'm gonna let my dogs eat it before I give it to them.
That's deep. That's deep. But I understand and I totally respect it, Bounce. All right. Wow. You left no meat on the bone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Bounce a huge round of applause. And there's a message in that story. The way that medication is now costing double, triple, even maybe 10 times more than it normally would. It's more proof that Donald Trump is the most un-American president. Huh?
Right. We do know that the red states ain't gonna be able to afford their insulin for their meemaws and the uncle daddies and the mommy sisters. They're not gonna be able to afford any of that.
Nope.
I have doctors in my family,
Yeah.
so my mother's gonna be okay. That's it.
Alrighty then. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give the beautiful Bounce a huge round of applause. No lies detected. All right. We're moving it along. Thank you so much. All right, we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting very, very close. Good morning, Val. Well, actually, we're way past the time schedule, but we'll try to do what we can. Hey, Val, how's it going, bro?
Going good, brother. How you doing?
Tending to the affairs as usual. Oh, what's this hat about?
Okay, hold on. Okay, Ashley, I just want to make sure something. Even though you're wearing a hat and sunglasses, brother, you're still a Hispanic dude underneath that hat and sunglasses. Okay, it ain't gonna help you any. I swear to God. Hey, but I do have a hat for you, Asler, that might help. I do have a hat that might help, Asler. Hold on a minute. Let me put it on. Hold on. Let me help you out, Asler. I have a hat that might help you out, brother. This hat right here might help you out. It stops strange things from happening to you, brother.
Give it to him, Val, and he deserves every bit of this. Because you're doing it out of love for the country, Val, and you're doing it because you genuinely care about them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
These are the things. So let's get back to being Val.
Yeah, I love it. W, Val. Because that's outside of your normal, but you came outside to make the point, so I appreciate it. It needs to be done.
Yeah, come on, people. I don't know what you're thinking about out there. It's, and we've had a lot of discussions today that were really good ones. Dr. Keisha, she's telling us about how we're really not getting information as the American public. We can't get correct information from the CDC. We can't get the proper, we don't have the proper committees together because we've defunded science, basically.
Yeah.
These are the things that are going on right now that need to, that need to be addressed by, by people and need to be called out. We don't talk about a lot of things. It was brought up earlier about information that we really don't get anymore. We don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
We don't talk about how we're not getting the news that we're supposed to get right now.
Right.
Has anybody heard anything about the 1,700 cases that she was talking about earlier?
Nope.
We knew it. We knew it when it was 200 before Joe Biden left. Okay, so now we've gone for 250. I think it was around 250. We've gone from 1,700 to 1,700 cases. We haven't.
Wow.
And we haven't got a single piece of news on that. Why? Because it makes him look bad. Because it actually shows that what he is doing right now is damaging and hurting the American people. These are the things that are going on. People like Asler that run around and just want to continue on. Asler, you can claim what your divorce was. I don't care what it was. I have a feeling I know why. The thing is, sir, is when you are so stuck on yourself that you don't think about others, that usually leads to divorce. I'm just telling you. So you may want to reflect a little bit.
Yeah, because your manhood isn't in your lower region, Asler. You should already know that. All right. So we figured him out. Thank you for diagnosing him, Val. W Val in the chat.
We have a lot going on right now. We have a lot going on right now in this country. We spend a lot of time talking about. Really, we don't spend much time talking about Trump as we should, because most Trump supporters want to talk about Biden and Harris and they'll go all the way back to Clinton. They don't care. They don't care. They want to live in the past.
Yeah.
And you know, right now we're in a future, we're in a right now that people are actually getting harmed. You know, they brought up the sheriff. You know, that was one of the stories I was going to bring up today. The U.S. Marshals that got arrested. I talked about this the other day. How we have people out there with ICE right now that have zero law enforcement experience, none. Okay.
Yeah.
When you have a guy holding a weapon, gang style.
Yeah, I saw that and I said,
Okay.
wow.
You know, this is somebody with no law enforcement experience. Okay. Not to mention this weapon shouldn't have even been unholstered. So these are the things that we worry about. And I guarantee you that US Marshal told him he was a US Marshal. And they don't care. They're just going to arrest a US Marshal.
Right, because they think he's probably lying or making up an excuse. You know, their minds play tricks on them, and that's what their mind has to do in order for you to do cruel things.
Right. And it's because they're having to go into places and play these things. I mean, there was just a news article yesterday released about a guy that asked a question of a Fort Worth police officer in Fort Worth, Texas. And they asked the Fort Worth police officer about, what happens if I see somebody in mask, you know what I'm saying, with ICE stuff written on their back, but no, you know what I'm saying, but no warrants, no stuff. What do I do if I see that in my neighborhood and them grabbing a woman up off the street? What do I do if I see that in my neighborhood?
Yeah. And
the officer's answer was this: I'm not sure exactly what you're supposed to do. I'm not sure where the law lands on this. Okay, he said, if these people are not identifying themselves, which the Constitution says they should have to identify themselves.
Right.
If they don't have proper warrants, I don't know that we could prosecute them if anything happens to them. And if they don't come to us first, which is what happened in LA, people.
Yeah.
If they don't come to us first and get us to go with them to make this where we have confirmation, where we can be the people that are out there saying, hey, no, they're here legally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, but if they don't come to us first, they just go out there and start doing this on their own. In the end, what he said, whatever happens is going to happen.
Wow.
People in a city like Fort Worth, Texas, that could be a lot.
It could go, in other words, it can go, either way. You could have people abusing the law or people taking the law into their own hands.
Right.
And to me,
that was his point. He says, because they don't do things the proper way, this could be how it ends up. Somebody taking the law into their own hands and many, many people getting hurt.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we're headed, because there's going to come a point in time people are going to do this, and we already have several cases now of people falsely getting these uniforms and falsely going out and doing bad things to people that are not part of any ICE raid. They're just playing like they're ICE. We already have plenty of cases of this. Because of what they've put forth. I'm telling you, one day it won't take long. It really won't take long.
Yeah.
One day the public's going to get upset. They're going to do that in a state like Texas, and things are going to go sideways.
Wow. And again, this is all self-inflicted. And so to your point, Val, what do you say, because you're bringing up very serious issues, what do you say to the people who go, well, this is what I voted for? Because that's their thing right now. This is what we voted for.
I can't help people like that. Okay.
Yeah.
People like that think this is what they voted for didn't need to be a U.S. citizen to begin with. Okay. And this is why I say that. You are not a participant or part of the United States experiment if you forget about the Constitution. You are
Bingo.
Not. Okay. The Constitution, we're a land of laws. And those laws were meant to be followed. And those laws were built to protect us. Right now, you're seeing those laws subverted, and we're not being protected, a.k.a. a U.S. Marshal arrest.
Yeah.
For walking down the street looking like a Hispanic man.
Yeah.
That was the reason for the hat, Asler, if you didn't get it.
There you go. Tell them, Val, Val. Well, We've covered a lot of very important topics, but Big Zeus Val has to get up out of here. All right.
Absolutely, sir.
But as always, thank you for taking time out of your busy morning and getting the truth out here, because this is what we need more of. All right, seriously. All right. All right, thank you. Oh my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen up. Big Zeus has to get up out of here. I'm so sorry I didn't get to check in with all of you lovely people. I tried my best, but listen, it doesn't mean I love you any less. It just means I gotta get up out of here. I want to give a special thank you and a round of applause for all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Another incredible show for the history books. Seriously. All right. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know exactly who this goes out to. This goes out to Asler and anyone like him who sit on TikTok and they think that, you know, oh, we're doing a great job winning, but your life is clearly falling apart, and in my opinion, going in the wrong direction. Wow, W. Kamira! Wow, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and give them one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence. Silence. You MAGA Damon.
W Zeus. All right. And I believe I'll be on my main account tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you to all of you who are rocking with me on the backup. I truly, truly do appreciate it. But we'll be back on the main. And hopefully we won't play anything else Donald Trump says that gets the live taken down. Because, you know, last time what I played was when Donald Trump said that, you know, him not catching an STD, so to speak, you know, that's the part that got me flagged. They said you can't play when Donald Trump says those things on TikTok. And so that's just more proof, ladies and gentlemen, that obviously Donald Trump isn't even safe on TikTok. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time on these TikTok streets. We are out of here. Wow. Lady, great show. You too, Kamira. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good show. Thank you. We're going to save the country one show at a time, seriously. And I appreciate all of the love and the support, seriously. W. Cindy. Nice. Thank you. W. Rex. Let's go. Yes. 1600 Pennsylvania Ave is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. You know it is. Let's go. Hey, alter ego. Stop being an antagonist, all right? All right. I know you're just doing it to get a rise. Be better. Do better. Serious, all right? Lady Boss Morning, yeah! You want some drill, baby drill? Want some drill, baby drill? What do you want me to do next? What do you want to do next? Well, Tara, if you twist my arm like that, thank you. Linda, thank you. Make sure you follow me on the main. Okay, we'll do drill, baby, drill. Drill me up. Let's go, let's go. We're gonna connect the dots. All right, let's do some drill, baby, drill, and we're out of here.
Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy.
You know she's gonna ban fracking.
You know she's gonna ban fracking.
You know she's gonna do that, right? 100%.
Yeah, she was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, "I like fracking very much." Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill.
You gotta be able to do that.
Drill, baby, drill.
We're gonna be drilling so deep.
We're gonna be, for these guys, we're gonna drill. We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're gonna lower your taxes to insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack, drill.
You know she's gonna bang it, right?
Up in there she was against, cracking against all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff. Everybody here to Africa.
Let's go.
Get in the pack. She said I like fracking very much, but they always go back to what they want.
They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical. This one. And we will frack,
and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill so deep. We're gonna do for this. Guys, we're gonna drill. We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're gonna lower your taxes. Insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say
really great Hannibal. Hit it. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack. Scorpion, thank you. We're gonna drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. Hey, I see you over there. Hey, W Scorpion. Here it goes.
You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal Lecter.
What?
They say.
Why would you mention Hannibal Lecter?
They're gonna pay down.
Yeah, why would you do
They're
that?
gonna lower your taxes.
Oh, okay.
Deep insane asylums.
That part.
You know they go crazy when I say it.
When you
the
say
late, great
Hannibal. Let's go. Let's go. Hit him with it.
Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal.
Drill, drill,
baby, drill. We're gonna be
how low can you go? Hey, how low can you go? Hey, how low? Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. What we gonna do? We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. All right, now listen. Asler, he ain't got a bag on him. Nah, he living in that tiny little closet apartment. They charge him $3,000 just to stay there, so he can't help you do what I can do. What are you gonna do? Oh, what we're gonna do is pay off all your debt, and then what we're gonna do is lower your taxes like you wouldn't believe. Because guess what's underneath all of that? We got so much liquid gold, and all we gotta do is drill, baby, drill to get to it. And then after that, you know what we'll do? We'll do a little bit of that fracking because I know you like it. All right. Yes, could be a closet apartment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.